The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Roto Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show after, a full week, actually. I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving, whether you actually celebrate it in your home country or not. And speaking of, joined by the inimitable Stuart Williams. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. A little sore. Our houses have been punishing me. So.
As they are wont to do.
Yeah, everything's breaking at the same time. It's not fair.
It is a bit of a first world problem to have multiple houses and things, going wrong at the same time. Yeah. Well, I understand your dilemma, though. Or at least can sympathize a little bit. I don't have. There you go.
I don't make the rules. I just play to the rules. I don't know what to tell you.
But to be fair, we will go to this a little bit. The exotic gem. This is a ball I thought it was going to stink.
Yeah, Chris is really fighting because he likes being right, and he's decided that he didn't want the exotic gem, but he can't stop striking with it every shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the case where if we weren't doing ball reviews, I would have never. We would have been on tour before I would ever even consider drilling it, which is probably not where it's going to be great at.
No,
so it would be like. Probably next April when I was back getting ready for the senior tour, I went, I guess I could give it a try. But
yeah, I mean, yours looks absolutely incredible. Mine definitely looked better once I went through my polishing process. I felt like it made it a little bit stronger. I haven't had a whole lot of love so far for the reactor gloss. For me anyway, it just seems kind of started with the phase 5 that didn't really do what I expected it to do, and based on what you were seeing and everything else, I don't think it matched up as well as I kind of kind of expected it to.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, although this is the first ball. I did leave it, and I'm pretty impressed with it. It looks pretty good on the exotic gem anyway. So
yeah, like I say, for me, I found that when I repolished it, it made the exotic gem a lot stronger than it was before.
Stronger earlier, stronger.
Just it looked like it just dug into the lane more. So. It picked up sooner, but it just hooked more overall. It didn't look as spectacular as yours still, but that's why you're Hall of Famer.
I don't know.
but yeah, we're talking about the tournament in Vegas. Jesse finally put up the vlog of Darren's tournament there. He went above and beyond. If you actually watch it, it looks like he's got the music. He's got the music dialed in on that one as Jesse. But speaking of Jesse, we're actually going to have him on Thursday. Darren, the brains behind Darren's YouTube channel. You might have seen Jesse bowl a little bit. He convinced me to go down and watch him bowl league for half an hour on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So. If you check out their league video this week, you'll probably see me and my friend John down there cheering them on. Yeah,
Stu, what's the process for polishing? We talk about it a lot, but I think it's worth going over. You and I
yeah,
have a little bit different, but in the same realm.
yeah. I depending on what I want to see, but basically a new 1,000 pad or like a kind of used 500 pad and then 1,000 pad over the top of it to get all of the polish off, and then I use step 2 on top of that, and I felt like that gave me as close as I was going to get to the 1,500 grit polish finish that was so good they decided to make it illegal. It wasn't fair to the other companies.
With step 2, a couple of questions, because there's a couple different ways to do it. Fast or slow? And do you use water with it at all?
I don't use water with it because the bottle I've got is fairly new, so I'm not trying to,
Dilute it anymore?
Yeah, like it's still fairly wet as it comes out.
Okay.
But
apologies for the fruity language.
But whenever I polish a ball, I generally use the high speed on my spinner. I've got a 2-speed spinner. I generally use the higher speed just because I just think it's less work. Because obviously you can get to a reasonable polish by using the slower speed, but you just have to do it for longer. So that's been kind of my go-to recently. And like I say, I'm going to get another phase 5 and I'm going to try that straight out of the box. But when I did that to the Exotic Gem, I liked the reaction out of it significantly more. But obviously, that's not necessarily that the reactor gloss is wrong, because Chris has been striking his mind out with it just straight out of the box.
Yeah, for me, and that was the difference between that and the Fade in phase 5, which I didn't like as much with the gloss on it. So I felt like I needed to take it off. So I would throw it with it first, but my process is more like a fresh 1,000 pad and then react to shine. It's eye of the beholder. So,
well, it's cleaner than the Gem. It's not as strong as the Gem.
Yeah, I mean, general, just putting pearl in it isn't enough to change it that much. I mean, one of the questions we keep getting asked is this, finally the replacement to the altered reality? And offhand, I would have said no, but it's way, way closer than I would have thought.
Yeah, for me, I've actually done my video. I've just got to record the chatting in between. I'll show you some of it today. I threw a few shots with an altered with the same layout, and for me, the altered was a little weaker than the Gem. It was a little cleaner, and it just didn't hook. It just didn't cover as many boards. But yes, for me, it has that same kind of idea where it kind of stands up and goes. Kind of, you can play the hook set reaction if you want to, or if you rotate it more like you were doing in your video, you can kind of make it have that long hook window. I feel like that the Exotic is a little more versatile, so I think you'll probably find, although Chris is kind of disproving this a little bit with the scores he's got, I felt like the Altered was the ultimate niche ball. When it was right, people struck like maniacs with it.
Yeah, but I do think. Yeah, I'm agreeing. I think the Exotic Gem's a little bit bigger window of usability so far than the Altered.
But when the Altered was right, like I think Prather used it at the World Series when he made his big run, and it was unbelievable. Like just the way you could rack strikes up with that ball, but equally, it wasn't the ball you wanted to when you were trying to shoot 215. In my mind, anyway.
Yeah, it was a little. The Altered was way more hit or miss for me. I mean, this Exotic Gem's pretty close to being kind of that medium. It's a little strong for a medium control ball, but it does a lot of the right things. to kind of fit in that spot.
It's kind
Morning,
of
Don.
so for you off your our favorite off the Infinite, where are you kind of seeing it?
Earlier and smoother than that.
Definitely with they've got both got the same finish, I guess.
Yeah, let's see. I believe my Infinite is just 2K, and so it's laying shine back up.
Yeah, that's right. I meant out of the box, you would probably see the Infinite as a little earlier, I guess, because it comes like dull, and
I think it's a little cleaner in general. Anyway, it's certainly way sharper off of it. So those balls are they play off each other nice, and that's what I've been using is when I'm at a 30-year-old HPL surface. So when the exotic starts looking a little lazy, I just go to an Infinite. I did get a chance to throw a phase 2 last night per Alex Hoskins layout, and it was better than my last few have been.
Okay, cool.
What was I gonna? Oh, Glenn, yeah, you can order a performance ball that doesn't have any scent. It's just Roto Grip and Global.
And there's some pretty good ones.
Yes, there's some options there. If you really don't like that, if you're triggered by, some people are super scent sensitive like that.
Some people are super scent sensitive.
Sensitive. All right. What do you like today?
I think England and USA are going to go through. But
yeah. I mean England did beat Iran by, because I learned how to pronounce it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the irony is Iran got a penalty late on that should never have been a penalty. And that might end up causing it to be impossible for Wales to get through no matter what happens because their goal difference. And it shouldn't have been a goal. So it's kind of interesting the way that's going down.
With England or Wales against Iran?
Well, England were playing Wales. England are basically through. England need to lose 4-0 to be out.
Right.
So that's like
just play a little defense and they're fine.
Yeah. I mean, England are just going to play a normal game. Like a normal game doesn't finish 4-0. So I don't really see that being an issue for them. Yeah, he's definitely Jesse has got skills. Maybe not as many skills on the bowling lanes, but he's got some skills with the editing. That's for sure. Speaking of that, we have started another channel on the Beef and Barnzy, so we would appreciate it if you could go and check it out. It is Beef and Barnzy Shorts. Let me see if
Josh, while he's answering that, in my Exotic Gem review on YouTube, there is towards the end, there is specifically shots with the Polished Nova against the Gem. In my opinion, the Exotic Gem is where I've landed on it, but you can watch those two shots up against each other and know for sure what shape you're looking for. The Nova's smoother for sure, but if you have enough wet dry, the Nova could be better.
So yeah, it is. It's Beef and Barnzy Shorts. So if you check it out, it's got the Beef and Barnzy logo. Beef and Barnzy Short. Let me just share.
And that's on Facebook?
No, it's another YouTube channel.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create. It's this one right here, the Beef and Barnzy Show logo. Beef and Barnzy Shorts. We've got a whole 9 subscribers right now, so let's see if we can get to double figures.
Big push.
Basically, I'm trying to create a place that I can put some short content up that doesn't absolutely destroy your feed. Because if I leave it all on the Beef and Barnzy regular page and I just keep putting 3 shorts up a day, which is clearly the way that YouTube wants you to grow, then all that's going to happen is you guys are going to get annoyed by there just being shorts every other video. So, yeah, I'm trying this out to see if this works. So if you could hit the subscribe button, that'd be awesome. If you don't want to watch shorts, don't hit the subscribe button, I guess. But yeah, it'd help us out if you'd show some love.
Mike Teagues wants to know, how much step 2 do you use and how many sides?
It depends. If the ball's got holes in it, I probably only do 2 sides just because I'm lazy and I just don't want to do that. On a new ball, it's much easier to do all 4 sides because you're not clouting the holes. So, and how much do I use? I use probably about a quarter's worth, like that sort of size.
Well, yeah, it's not a lot.
No, I don't. The thing is, if you use too much, you just make your rags just filthy and then once that shit dries, it's a disaster because the rag is you shake the rag and it just creates dust everywhere. So it's almost better to use a little bit, do it. And if you don't feel like you covered the whole ball, just add a little bit more. Because if you put too much on, you just make it like you just leave shitloads of it on the rag. So that's no good. I wouldn't say almost identical, but
no,
it's in the ballpark, I think is.
Ben Gaming, as much as I like the Exotic Gem, with Gem Phase 2 and Zen, the Infinite Physics stands out in that group.
I mean, if you're completely in love with the Gem, then I guess it makes sense to go with the Exotic. But if you're
the Gem would fit in between the Phase 2 and the Gem, and then and keep going down that line. The Infinite Physics actually, depending on how dull or shiny it is, can be in between the two. It can be, I don't know.
I feel like either will fit in the gap. Right now we have more positive vibes with the Infinite Physics. But for Chris, the Exotic Gem's coming up on the outside.
It's getting regular play in the bag, but right now, the balls I took the league last night were Exotic Gem, Phase 2, and Infinite Physics. So
there you go. And
they're all enough different to give you 3 different looks at it. So
yeah, I drilled a new reality strike. I drilled a new one last night. That rolled pretty good. I'm getting ready for the weekend. Got my favorite regional of the year, the Invitational. I like it for.
I thought you were going to say the over/under doubles.
No.
Yeah.
No. We've got the Invitational. I like the Invitational because it's at Shawnee, and I love Skillins is the best. I love going to hang out with Chris, and at Fire Lake, and secondly, I like it because it's the only regional we bowl of the whole year that has 2 blocks.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's an enormous advantage to me and you and anybody else who has a brain, which isn't all of the field. So I just like the fact that you can kind of get into the tournament a little bit. Like you bowl 6 games. And if you don't kind of have the right look, at least you can kind of, in the break, when me and Frankie go to see our boys at the sandwich shop, you can just kind of think about how you did it and then make a new solution and a new decision for the next block. And it kind of sets you up nice. I really like 2 block tournaments, especially when you're using the same pattern.
Which will be the format on tour this year.
Yeah.
Which I look forward to seeing if it changed, what the effects are in general.
Yeah, in 2 block tournaments, you don't often get how the hell is that guy up there very often.
No, we said for a long time, and it's kind of gone away because we don't do it anymore, but there's a lot of people that can lead 1 squad, and there's considerably fewer that can lead 2, and the number goes way down that can lead 3 on a given pattern. And that's why you see a lot of the studs end up at the U.S. Open and those kind of tournaments when you run the same pattern. William Gannum will be at the over/under doubles. He's found an old guy to bowl with. Typical house shot's a little bit heavier in oil, speed dominant. Do you think Exotic Gem, as your straighter ball? Yeah, it could do that. It's strong enough for that. It's a big core and still a pretty strong cover. You might need one above that, depending on your depending on your preference or your flavor. 21. Boom. You guys are coming in hot for us. I appreciate it. Right to double digits right off the bat. So,
next stop 100, baby.
woo! Look out, Darren. Here we come. But whether it's a gem or a supernova, proton physics, all those, reality obviously has been maybe the best of all of those for the majority. So, what's your step down after throwing the infinite physics on a house shot? There's a lot of ways to go. It's still kind of in the middle of the lineup, but Night Road has been, as of late, a ball that I've gone to. Pretty high RG, and the high RG makes it go longer down the lane, save energy. So flares a lot, and the Rex cover is in the same ballpark as the infinite physics. So
well, it's the same cover. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they pearl, not pearl, whatever, but blue, black. It seems to be a little bit cleaner. Yeah.
I mean, way weaker core. Yeah, I like that option. Bowling tournaments recently, when I've gone away from the infinite physics, I've gone to a weaker layout Zen that I've liked.
Okay.
I don't always love the Zen on the house shot. I think it's a little bit too strong or not strong enough. Just like, I feel like on house shots, you need either really strong cores or you need really weak balls. Like the in-between is never really there.
Yeah.
Very rarely is that the answer for me. Yeah, December 9th. Exotic.
I don't think it probably. I mean, it's one of the few times where I've ever seen the pearl. I think
look pearl.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah,
it looked way different than when you go, okay, a polished gem, and I go, all right, polished Nova, that kind of thing. And I think you'll get a similar deal. It's going to be pretty smooth and pretty, smooth, early and smooth.
Yeah. To me, when I did my review of the gem originally, I barely saw any difference with polishing it. It just made it a bit weaker.
That's right. You did do it. I have not. I liked my gem enough. I never polished it. So there you go. There's
real quick. As we're talking about the exotic, let me bring up this. We're not going to watch all of this, but we'll watch a bit of it. So I got to bowl on a couple of different patterns for my review. This was the Mark Roth, which I've started using quite a bit as a test pattern, just because we bowl on Mark Roth like it feels like a third of the tournaments we bowl on the PBA Tour. It was definitely a softer version of Mark Roth. But overall, I felt like it was the ball was really continuous, which is the main key. Like, I get that one a little too wide, but with the lower speed, it would really come around the corner. As you can see, down lane for me, it's not like, it's nowhere near as strong off the back as, say, the Infinite is for me.
Yeah.
But
this ball is about smooth and about control. I think it's going to be good on sports stuff where you need a little bit through the front and control, and it needs a little bit of wet dry.
So I believe that this is Petraglia, which is 46 feet. It's another pattern that's fairly easy. But it was definitely this, for me anyway, on this pattern, the exotic gem actually looked better than it did on the house shot for me.
And that's wild, because something that's that big and slow on long patterns, like say polished Nova, where we used some of that before.
Yeah.
Both terrible on this stuff.
Yeah. Like for me, I just felt like the extra length in the pattern meant the ball didn't burn up as much. And I like you can see, I felt like I could play pretty much any part of the lane with it.
It picks up, which is what I've liked about the gem myself.
Here's an infinite on the same pattern. I was actually quite surprised. It was quite a bit weaker for me. Kind of like what you've been saying. This is
Longer, yeah. And then when it sees friction, it's sharper.
yeah. Well, when I actually tried to stand in the same spot as I was hooking the other one from, I actually really struggled to make it come around the corner. And then this is the house shot breakdown. These lanes were
toasty.
As we go through this, I actually throw a few shots with the what's it called? The altered reality. So if I can quickly see, this is what I liked about this. I felt like I could throw it at the dry and control the dry,
which is key on house shots. Playing the shim is kind of how you bowl. Here you go. Here's altered reality. But playing the shim is key a lot of times on patterns, and on house shots, being able to throw it to the dry is how you really strike.
I felt like the altered was like much longer before it made its move.
Okay.
The altered looked a lot better when I got a little bit further right. And I understand that we're still talking 20, but when it was at like 25 over here, 27, it was it wasn't as good. But when I got further right, it was better. Whereas the the exotic gem was probably a little too strong at that point, and it was better when I got further left again.
Based off this, I'd say the exotic's probably 2 feet earlier, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And a longer continuation window versus the altered.
100%. Oh, and by the way, the approaches were like glass. Somebody had used Easy Slide in the senior league, and it was hilarious. Like I took my chamois, it was purple, and it was completely brown by the time I finished because of all the shit that I wiped up, like super like white. Oh god, it was awful.
Adam, you've watched this enough, Infinite Physics is always a good choice. So
yeah, there's almost nothing it's not good on.
Surfaces on phase 2. I think we've tended to like it lane shined. So that kind of 2000-ish out of the box and just let it shine up. Cleaning oil off the ball between shots, I always do. Certainly urethane, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
4 sides of the ball, according to storm management. Yep, to do it as accurately as possible. I think this is referring to the 3 shorts a day. Packy is on
I don't, to be honest, it's not necessarily one or the other. It's just any of them. There's a bunch of channels, not just bowling channels, just in general. And I don't know. Maybe I also want to kind of prove how pointless like total subscriber number is, because people who subscribe because of shorts, like they're not really watching your content like avidly. They're not necessarily picking anything up. So it would just be ironic to me if I could make this short channel bigger than our regular channel.
Bowling good games 2 and 3, but game 1 not so much. Probably something a little stronger would be my guess. Something that's a little bit earlier.
Maybe a little more surface.
Yeah, phase 2, maybe even phase 5 is a little stronger, although not necessarily. Jury's out there. Zen, anything with a little lower RG, maybe just a touch more. What makes pin slide one lane or the other? Saw a 4-pin slide with a 10-pin spot. Most of the time that is the cleaner being mixed a little weakly. Not getting clean. Just got a dark code. Huh?
The next comment just made me laugh.
I want a reality strike. Are the balls different enough to have both in the bag? Yeah. I would say yeah. The reality check covers quite a bit stronger than dark code.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was actually reading this as worldwide release date to start with. I'm like, what's he talking about? Then my brain clicked in. Yeah, it's always what would Rash do?
What would Rash do?
And like before anybody wants to be funny about it, Rash literally makes the show every single time we go to Shorty. Like we're going to Shorty again. There's one less spot on the ladder because Rash is going to bowl. Like it's sick. He makes it every time.
Since both of you bowl league, Darren regularly comments that league does nothing to improve your game. You know what it tells me? That Darren's not very good at bowling league. There's something to be learned about everything. Because even the two are cliffs occasionally. And if you're bad on the cliff.
Like quite often.
Yeah. Well, if you can get far enough left, it probably does.
Yeah, I mean,
but it cliffs on the short patterns all the time. So I think there's something to always be learned.
I just have a good time. I go out, I have some fun with my friends. I think it's good. Like, League does nothing. I would argue that League does more to improve Darren's brand than any tournaments he bowls on tour. He has way more people watch his videos of him bowling League than he does of him bowling on tour. Yeah. So it might not improve his game.
It might not improve his game, but improves his pocket.
Yeah, it improves his brand. Yeah, and it's the same. Like, why do you think like that guys have so many fans? It's because they bowl pro-ams. Well, we don't really have pro-ams now. So if you want to be like if you want people to root for you, they've got to get to know you. And league's a good way of people to get to know you. Now, for some guys, maybe you don't want them to get to know you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a difference in popularity between Norm built his brand from the ground up without internet.
Yeah.
By being one of the best guys in a pro-am ever for 40 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently shows up and is present every time he bowls. Parker also really good in those situations. And we all know guys who don't love those situations.
Just mail it in.
And they don't engage and so it's just the way of the world. So I think Darren does fine. I think he likes that brings a certain amount. There's a certain amount of people who love to watch the pros struggle on anything. And so that brings people to watch too.
Yeah. And, I just think that it's an easy thing to say. I just don't think that bowling, I don't think I've ever thought, man, bowling here is making me worse. But
no.
I think Nathan Bowles, Texas's best bowler right now. That's what I think I found from last week. Moldy's real tough, but Nathan's been bowling out of his mind the last 6 or 8 months.
To tell Nathan, it's just another term he won when I wasn't there, so I don't count
it. Did you happen to see the final, the score?
No, just what you told me. It was wild.
Kabansky missed the one time. That was once too many.
Matt Kabansky, by the way, he's the brand manager for 900 Global. So in his side job,
probably one of the best bowlers from San Antonio. Like for a long time, he's been a really good bowler.
Low key.
Yeah.
Brings no attention to himself, but he can bowl.
He brings a little bit of attention to himself in league, I guess. He's a bit of a fry guy in league.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, no, but yeah, just quickly recapping it. Yeah, I went down. I got back on Friday night. I went down Saturday morning first thing. Bowled the first squad. Made an asshole out of myself. I bowled 1-200 game. Got a little frustrated. Went to Home Depot to buy some shears for my soles because I couldn't stand up. So that wasn't a good start. So I got some tackier soles on my shoes because I'm still in the transition period over to 3G. And the one sole I had was the slippy one. And it was one of the few times where the overweight wasn't enough to slow me down. So I did that. I also bought some Scotch-Brite while I was there, and I scratched the shit out of my gem and my reality because the pattern was really tight. And the thing is at Astro, when you play to the right, it isn't always great because the track is so dominant. So it's like finding that spot. You can be a little right of the track. You have to be more right of the track than you think you do, because if you miss
5,
a
6,
little
7,
left, you're dead in the track. So I kind of came back with the thoughts I was going to throw urethane because that's what the guys had done. But I went on the first pair and I started at the low end, or I started in the middle, like lane 25, but that was the low end of the lanes we were using. And I made this first pair like stupid easy, but managed to go open, spare, open to start for 205. So that was great. But then I had to like 230 and then I had 260 running. And a guy decided that he had to rub my hand because apparently I was lucky and he wasn't. It wasn't so much that, it was I didn't suck and he did. And then I 7-9'd the very next shot after he did that. So that was nice in the 10th. So I shot 235. And then I shot 150. And that kind of was a bit of a problem. So I went on one of the worst pairs in the house, shot 225, got right back in it, was fine, went back to the pair to the left of where I started, and I shot 150 again. So I ended up missing the cut. So that was that was a little frustrating. Yeah, it was just I was just not ready to bowl that tournament. Didn't bowl well enough, and other guys did. And like I say, Nathan bowled fantastic on Sunday. And then the step ladder was just a joke, like how well he bowled. 288 to 266 in the final.
Now you've been making some changes and doing some other stuff. What have you been going through?
I'm going through the fact that I just keep throwing too many just awful shots is the problem at the minute. Like I'm trying to get my ball roll to be much earlier, and overall I'm being semi-successful at it. But when I miss right now, the misses are just bad. Like, and they're steep and right.
And why are you wanting to make your ball roll earlier?
Because right now, if I bowled how I would feel most comfortable, where my ball picks up on the lanes, generally on tournaments, is right at the back of the window. That is ideal. So if you imagine on most patterns, you're going to have a spot on the lane that you want your ball to pick up in, and front to back wise. And that spot is probably good for about 4 or 5 feet, I would guess, would be my guess. Like, you know, Chris is obviously going to play the earlier part of that break point, like front to back. My problem is my rev rate isn't high enough to play as far to the back of that break point as I've been playing. And I would say probably 75% of my misses are the ball goes too far down the lane. So,
but don't you think that's a key to Prather's success?
Maybe, but Prather doesn't miss as many times too far down the lane as I do. So the point is I'm leaving the 2-pin.
Yeah.
Almost all of the times that I miss. Like the bad misses is almost always the 2-pin. So to me, the logical thing to do is to try and get my break point to be a little closer to me. And if I can do that, then when I miss, most of the time I'm still going to be in the ideal window because I don't miss early very often.
And since we don't have pictures up to kind of go along with this, you're talking about it, making it roll early, and still, it's not about not hooking it. It's EJ is a guy who makes it roll early and bowls very, very successfully.
Yeah,
Prather, as far as guys with his thumb in it, probably makes it go as long on a line as anybody today without throwing it really hard.
When he's hooking it, for sure.
Yeah, when he's hooking it. When he's left. Because he's got to go through a lot of traffic because his rev rate's not as high as most of the two-handers that are in there with him.
But Prather's kind of the only one who makes that work. And I can occasionally make that work, but it's just Prather can rotate more than I can.
Yeah, I think you have a more similar skill set than most.
Yeah, definitely. But like I say, I've been beating my head up against the wall for 2+ years of this not working,
Yeah.
and the percentage of times that I'm leaving the 2-pin or the 210 is just way too high.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to try and do, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll work, maybe it
Just to
won't.
be clear, like we've talked about a lot, this is an adding to, not just a straight. You're not giving up the thing that you've been really good at for 20 years. You're just
Yeah,
adding to it.
I think that this is more of a philosophical change. I'm going to use the same skill sets.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try and look at the lane a little closer to me,
Looking at it
like
that way.
reaction wise.
Because
So
you could spend this whole time doing this, and then the lane philosophy changes a little bit, and then it goes right back to fitting what you like to do. That would be nice for
yeah,
you.
it would. But I feel like part of the reason why it isn't necessarily the lane philosophy, it's the lanes themselves.
Yeah.
And for as slow as I ideally want to throw it, to use that, I need the lane surface to be closer to perfect than hooked. And it's much closer to hooked than it is perfect right now. So that's the problem. So when we go to places with like new installs, or the USB-C has it in the arena or whatever, I qualify really high basically every time. That's kind of why I like going to Shawnee, because the front part of the lane is pristine.
Really good there. It's not a high league center,
no,
not a high traffic center. So
my ball doesn't lose energy, so I can see what it's doing and like make logical changes, because it's so hard to see right in front of you when it goes wrong. You're just taking guesses, really.
And I wasn't really trying to expose you out here, but it's a process all the time. And if we don't keep evolving to what's going on, you get left behind, and you have to address the things that aren't going great. So I don't want to beat that horse a whole lot, but get back and kind of catch up on the questions. But I appreciate you giving some insight to what's going on there. The X2 is cleaner than the Infinite. Somewhat similar cores, but cleaner cover.
The X2 is almost as clean as a High Road Pearl.
Yeah, it's the cleanest cover. It's just got more core than the High Road, Night Road, those kind of balls. So Zen Master, this is probably one of the few times to go with the Zen Master, and not much hand that an Exotic might be a slightly better fit than an Infinite, but I don't think you can go wrong with an Infinite, and then you can always add surface and make that one hook plenty.
Yeah.
Infinite's the safer play. Based off of what we know on it right now.
The other scenario is if he likes the Zen Master, Zen might be a pretty good option also. I felt like for the people with not much hand, sometimes having a quicker response ball is quite good because they see the reaction down the lane.
Yeah, and then get it through. Want my X3 and Nova to go longer, both lane shined. Do you hit it with a sanding pad or just use a little step 2? Those, I think step 2 is probably enough. You don't need to add anything more to it. And yes, we've both done it. I've used a Supernova that way. Oh no, a Nova. I'm sorry, a Nova that way. And I think you've shined up an X3 and got it. You had one that looked great there for a little while. I don't know.
I've shined an X3, but I actually prefer it with the box, the 4K fast.
Did you pick the music, or did YouTube pick?
I picked the music. I appreciate you. I guess you're talking about all the shorts I have seen. Yeah, I guess that's just the algorithm. Has whichever's the most popular on shorts at the minute. That's not necessarily what you have to use. But yeah.
You got to get the channel before 1,000 for you. Well, Nico, you're going to have to go to bat for us, man, because you have to get it out there.
Well, we're at
you are a bowling super fan.
So 969 to go. I'm seeing that as unlikely, but we've got more than 3 times as many subs as we had before. So way to go, guys.
Closest to an asymmetric Zen.
No. Interesting thought, but no. Like for me, the Zen is just.
I'm going to try that one on for size, but I mean, I don't really think of it that way. They're either symmetric or not. The gem is not super asim, right?
I think it's 016.
Is it 16? Yeah. Off the top of my head, I didn't remember the number. Reality X2, Phase 2, Wolverine, Hype Pearl, PBR, Pitch Black, Unit, Phase 5, Exotic Gem, or Infinite Physics. You are plenty covered on the low end. Infinite Physics is never a bad play in our book.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the Exotic Gem is kind of an earlier version of a Phase 2. Phase 5 is a longer version of a Phase 2. So I don't think that's probably what you need inside of that lineup there. So I don't know. Infinite Physics.
Fair play to him.
Yeah. I don't know there's going to be quite the revolution that two-handed bowling was, but I mean,
I do feel like Happy Gilmore is just so like perfect for bowling. Like Shooter McGavin is just like he is like every 100 traditional bowler when Belmo and Troop and that start kicking her ass. Look at this freak.
Reality X1, Phase 2, and Zen pinned down as my stronger ball. So I feel something between Reality and X1. That's where a Infinite Physics with some surface on it would come into play.
Maybe an X3.
X3's, yeah.
For me, the X3
mine was pretty smooth, but yeah.
So
since you do like the X1, Exotic Gem may play in there as well.
Yeah, sometimes, but it depends which house you're in, because sometimes it going a little bit straighter down the back part of the lane is really good for going through the pins.
That's where, as of late, moving my CGs a little closer to center of grip or even negative has helped me keep these ASIMs continuing. And I'm still learning the physics of that from the smarter people. But
so darn, yeah, that vape thing was just wild. Like almost blew his pant. He actually blew his pant leg out. It was just wild.
Yeah, I mean the X3 is still the earlier ball of the bunch that you're talking there. So you can have some surface on it. It can be your kind of one ball.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have those three, I wouldn't necessarily have those three, but if you are, I think you're gonna have to put a lot of surface on the X3.
There you go.
Shout out to Luis Napolis. He had me on his channel this week. I forgot to mention this. I need Chris's skills. We have to design him a shirt. He lost. So we have to design him a shirt. We're wondering whether we should have a on the back with a big Beef and Barnzy logo. So we've got to get with our friends over at Coolwick once their Black Friday sales kind of calm down a little bit, like the work needed to service those Black Friday sales. But yeah, it's got to be as embarrassing as possible. You are the expert for that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to add that up.
No, great, yeah.
But yeah, this did happen this last weekend, and so this is the standings, and actually one of the guys the story you told last week about the fight in the bowling center and what de-escalated it.
Yeah,
his son actually won the 18th version of the BTC. So we were able to pay out a little over $20,500 in scholarship money. We had $1,000 on Friday night, and then early entries. There was an 8-10 lottery draw, $100 scholarship winners. But Jacob Lesfico.
Yeah, we still don't know how to say that either.
Lesfico. Lesko screws this whole thing up. Like most things, Lesko ruins things. I cannot get this kid's name right. Lesfico. And he bowled great. And shockingly enough, he threw a purple hammer.
He's two-handed, right?
Yeah. Noah Riley. Everybody else, there were some people who threw a little bit early and then got away from it. Chris Warren, that is the Chris Warren's son. He threw a Zen U for quite a while and then transitioned to a Zen Soul. Made a run from the bottom on up. Jay Burgess's son, Ryan Burgess, put a beating on him the last four, but the first four. He'd started at the very bottom and wasn't able to climb all the way back out. He actually got pretty close to fifth, really. Garrett Andrews.
So shout out to Austin. Represent, boys. 1 and 3.
Yeah. Garrett, man, that kid has a lot of game.
Yeah.
The surprise in the scratch division was Keegan Alexander did not make the finals, and 16 years old, rearing its ugly head every once in a while, and got a little off the rails in the semifinals. But the handicap division, Caden Terry, winner there. Trey Durflinger, Amber Hill, Morgan. We're well represented by the women in this one. Maya Green, the night before in the semifinal round, put a beating on them to go to the lead, and then struggled in match play a little bit on Sunday. But Plano Super Bowl, James Polk, my man, he is there every time I'm there for any tournament. He is there practicing, and it paid off. Won by about 100 pins or so over Caleb Ebner, Hayden McBride. We had a lot of entries in the 13 younger division this year. So did an EBT prize fund. This was the prize fund. It was set. You knew the numbers, who was going to cash and how many from the get-go. 13s ended up spreading this with entries, so the ratio wasn't quite as good there, but we also took in, paid out way more money than we took in all the divisions. So we took in a little over 10,000 and paid out about, like I said, 20,000. So thanks to all our sponsors there. They did a great job for us.
Very nice. Very
nice. Where are we at? Yeah, I got nothing.
I like the totally defiant a lot and was an ASIM locus section. Can the exotic be considered a modern replacement for that and the numbers? I'll just be honest, I have no idea.
I didn't throw that one, so I don't know.
It's the one I know exactly which ball it is. Wes won cheater when he beat Clara with it. I think if you want a modern ball that you can successfully swing, then it's the infinite physics. Asymmetrical. I've got a Zen, Soul, and a pitch black. Where do I go from here? Any direction.
There's a lot of options in there.
You could go strong in the Zen Soul, infinite. You could go in between those two, which is like anything shiny. So Zen, High Road Pearl, Night Road. Yeah.
Hustles. Yeah, any of those.
Aaron needs to bowl league at Louisville. Yeah. I mean,
that's not unfair.
No.
Too far a drive. Ryan's going to bowl with Keplinger in that one.
So. Actually got 3 regionals back to back to back.
Yeah, we're going to be busy enough.
Yeah, we're probably not recording those bowling league. Beef is my daddy on the back. Yeah, maybe.
A little picture of Stu giving the shooter McGavin. That might be
got him.
I mean, right there. Just put
real fun. We filmed 2 videos while we were there. I think the other one's going to go up in the next week or so on his channel. Luis is a super good guy. And he's built his channels up to like 25,000 subscribers. He's very relatable. pretty knowledgeable on most of the things. We had a good time, and yeah, it was fun. He was trying to get me to line you up, and I said, like, you know, to come on with him. And I said that we'd probably try and sort something out if you were in Vegas. So maybe when you're over there for the senior tournaments.
Well, it's possible I'll be out there. Tour trials and some other stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So maybe we can figure something out. Yeah. Okay. Matt is humble. Not sure who Matt is.
Kamansky.
Kamansky.
Yeah. Don't pull it out. Just comb it. Good.
I'm getting back in the ball after 20 years. Currently use a turmoil hybrid on a house shot, average 190. What do you recommend for another ball? I mean, there isn't really enough information there. I mean, I think something stronger than the turmoil, but that might just be a hustle, like a hustle USA or something.
Yeah, I mean, hard to go wrong with the Zen and somewhere in the middle there. So,
yeah, Pete, we didn't really do very well. I bowled with Pete the first squad. We wasn't very pretty for either of us. Hey, Kenny.
There you go.
Yeah. Surface, not necessarily.
Watching Darren's vlog, and I heard that explosion. I thought Simo finally had enough of the bad racks.
Yeah.
Go bowl a regional in your area, and especially in the off season, you get a pretty good idea because there's always a few guys from the tour sprinkled in there. You can find out in a hurry.
Physically, because all that'll end up happening is I've got enough skills with my hand that if I make the layout stronger, then I'll just rotate it more to get it to the same spot. So it won't help. It's about, oh boy. There's a man who isn't humble. How do you read the front to back, and how does that affect how you see the lane? Basically, the easiest way to do it is to put a coffee cup down the lane, like on the on the masking, on the capping. It doesn't necessarily have to be a coffee cup, but something like that. And then you can see where your ball hooks, because you have a reference point. That's how I see it anyway. Like, you need some sort of marker, and then when you're bowling on the Brunswick machines, you can see the markers are down the lane, right? They're at like 40 feet, correct?
Yeah. They're 42 to 45, I believe.
Yeah. So
40 to 43.
So you can see it. Now, hints for your ball going too long is if you leave the two pin a lot. If you leave a lot of ring 10s, 9 pins as well, especially if the ball's continuing a lot, tend to be all indications that your ball is getting more behind the head pin than you would like. So to me, that's kind of the first step, is to, it's like being an alcoholic. You've got to admit you've got a problem. And it's taken me a while to totally admit it. But we'll try to get there. So then you've got to commit to trying to get the ball so that you can see it, like, pick up, roll
40 to 43.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell when your ball's picking up because it starts to spin faster.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's starting to get traction.
So it's actually a good thing to use multicolor balls because it's a lot easier to see. Now, you can tape it as well. You can put an axis tape on as well, and you can see when it loses it. And how does that affect how you see the lane? Well, it doesn't necessarily. It's just, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to guard against my miss. And my miss being that I get the ball to skid too far down the lane. So if I can have my stock, like, reaction be closer to me, then when I miss long, it'll still be in the ideal window.
Baker has a little different theory right now. It's kind of interesting. He's just putting he's putting tape between 5 and 9 at 45 feet, and basically anything between 38 and 43. That becomes the window. Move it a couple boards in if it gets longer, but that a couple right on the shorter ones. But kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Rick did something like that with tape also.
Yeah, he does the whole lines and the whole shape. Yeah, he does way longer strips.
But it's all about just a visual, because the thing that's the best for trying to manipulate your ball reaction is that rope thing that Rick had.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see it like immediately then, because you have one that the rope inside where you're trying to bowl, you see the shape. Oh boy. And then when you see, you're like, oh, I made that one hook earlier, and then you watch it charge past that break point and then come off it. You're a Cowboys fan living in Kansas.
Yeah, that's worse. So, they're fairly close. Covers are quite a bit different. So, senior left you the new Exotic B. It would be a different shape. It's going to be longer and a little bit more off of the spot. So, well, this is more information I need to know, Trey. So,
I guess he meant liked.
Well, I don't know what he did. I don't really want to know. The picture in my head was worse than anything else I could do there. So, I got you.
Urethane.
Yeah, we went through this somewhat similar, but not really the same.
There you go. Drake is also from Austin, works with Gary in the shop. So,
oh, nice.
Austin's coming for you, Dallas. Trying to convince my wife to get me a Phase 5 for Christmas. Would it complement my fate? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use the Phase 5 to complement the fate. I think they're going to be a little bit too close.
That's my take as well. I think if you're looking to gap out with only a few balls, then there's different ones to do that.
Yeah. I did my usual maneuver. I struck, which basically meant I'd won, and then I 210'd. So I threw it between my legs to try and spare it and missed, and told him he didn't have a double in him, which he didn't.
I trolled him.
Me and Dom did that to O'Grady, I think it was, one year, and he said that he almost never got over it. We doubled in the 10th to beat him, and then I threw it in the gutter and said, who cares? You didn't have a double in you anyway. And he said he didn't really know how to respond to that and didn't strike. Oh, wow. I'm having major trouble with continuing at the bottom of the swing. I have a tendency to slow down right before releasing it. Bottom. Tanking speed and ruining my timing and accuracy. Any ideas? Don't.
Slower, shorter start. Gain speed. You don't ever want to start fast, finish slow. It's the other way around. So
there you go.
You have the weight, you have the pin distance, and then you have the RG and differential. And so it's a much longer answer, and we're already over an hour, but we will get around on that.
Vince Biondo says it has the similar core.
Huh. Depends on who you're bowling with.
This is the 100% depends.
It depends.
Not as much as you think. Like, depending on which I start with, sometimes only a couple of boards, sometimes like 2 arrows.
Yeah, no, like see, when I sub on this Monday night, Chapman's on the pair. We have a couple other guys with higher rev rate, Skid and Chris Hansen, and then Allen's a little fluffer ball down there. But if we're bowling the Laveries and that team too, it might be 12 to 15 boards that night. Now, if we're bowling teams that don't hook that much, might only be 4 to 6. Just that's more the building, older surface. So,
I don't know. I thought she was okay. I have no idea. Where in the world is Matt O'Grady?
For a little while, serving time, I think, but he went off the rails a little bit. I think that was what I heard. Excuse me.
Probably a hustle.
Zen, very far left. Any suggestions? Yeah, like Hustle USA's the camo, something like that. Those smaller flaring balls.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, the thing is for me and Chris, a lot of the time we'll stay in balls for a little longer and then make bigger changes. For guys who don't necessarily want to change their hand or speed or whatever, then you're probably going to go infinite fate night road, whereas me and Chris might just go infinite night road.
Yeah. Gamer sport, there's room for both. It's different things for different people.
I think part of the problem is we spend so much time arguing about things like that.
Yeah. So your ball's getting behind the head pin. Besides surface, what would you change on layout? I don't know if I would change layout. I would change my speed so it picks up
speed
a little
or
bit.
Direction of roll.
Yeah. You get your hand a little bit more up the back of it. I mean, you can do layouts, but Tracy's a pretty good player too. So considering he's from Oklahoma, no offense, Kevin Denny.
Give him hell. Give him hell.
But yeah, I mean, speed's probably first, and then rotation. You get a little bit more forward, get your ball to pick up sooner. As far as a layout, you can always go pin down to get it to pick up sooner and be a little flatter. So,
sure. All right. Well, we're up to 33 subscribers on the Shorts channel. So, I mean, thanks for digging in, 200 people.
Hi, Kevin. Knew you were here somewhere.
Subscribe.
Yep, it's free. So, thanks for joining us. Thursday, we will be bringing on James, right?
Jesse.
Yep.
Jesse's going to come on. He's going to tell us all the things we're doing wrong, hopefully. And he's going to, and we're going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
There we go. All right. Well,
sorry, Darren. So if you see Jesse relocating to Dallas, you'll know why.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining us again. We will be back Thursday talking about a little bit of all the different things there, plus anything else that's happened in between. So show up as usual. Your questions make this show happen. And if you get a chance, please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Roto Grip, Nair Global, Cool It, Bowler Smart, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum Ford, where we just bought a truck last week. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
Thanks for tuning in.